Begin your song, O Muse of younger men more fit for war, the sons of the Seven. Tell me now, which god or mortal first caused the sons to wage a second war and take the seven-gated town of Thebes? Was it a wife and mother, a cursed queen who sent her husband and sons to war corrupted by a necklace and robe? Or was it Creon, who denied the fallen princes their burial rites? Or the goddess, who ordered infant sons to take revenge? It was the first, the last, and all of these, and a myriad more besides. For no war, no blood shed by man or god has a single cause, and the naming of the one conceals the multitude. Yet lest we, overwhelmed by such a task, sing but silence, reveal, O Muse, the proximate cause, the Chthonian daughters of the gelded sky. In the murky caves of bronze-walled Tartarus, beneath the roots of earth, sluggish Tisiphone lay. Her snaking hair hung lank, slobbering venom. To look upon her tattered gown, one might mistake its bloody hue for faded rose. With withered arms she dragged herself through the dust and searched out her sisters, Megaira and Alecto, also lying listless in the squalid dankness of their hovels. Once screaming, now barely moaning, thus she spoke. My sisters, born together from our father's butchered loins, never has such despair as this held us as we lie withered, impotent in this Tartarian slum, despised by all. It has been 10 years since I exulted amongst the slaughter raging by the walls of Thebes. Then, at my behest, men fought each other and dragged the Olympian gods into the fray. It was I who caused the ground to gape and swallow the prophet hero, his chariot and team. I who goaded Capaneus to scale the walls, assail the heavens, as none had since the Titans, provoking Zeus to cast him down. Maddened Tydeus dined from a cranial bowl at my command. Appalled Athene gasped and withheld the elixir, dooming him to death. 10 years since you, Megaira, aided my cause, provoked a wife to send her man to war, all for a cursed jewel. And how long since you, Alecto, at a god's command, deceived an army and fooled them into war, to join mistaken allies, believing theirs to be a common cause. But now, peace reigns on the land, and we are left to languish. Now we lack the strength to wield our whips. The beaten slave no longer fears our scourge. Our torches, with which we once ignited hearts and fired the conflagrations of siege, are but sputtering candles, scarce enough to light our gloomy home. Who now fears us? Who begs us to let them be in peace to rage upon their foes? We, whom men once in dread called kindly, are now no longer named by men at all. So she spoke. Alecto answered in reply, Sister, do not be concerned, be cheered, for not much longer must we rest in peace. I hear that Eris tends an apple tree, its single fruit desired by all the gods, and she shall award it to the fairest goddess. Whoever that may be, it seems to me that no good can come therefrom. We know, and love, our cousin's wiles too well. Wherever Eris works her plans, amongst the mortals war transpires, and gainful work is ours. For in war, the Olympian-dwelling gods pick sides and enlist our aid. Fathers are absent and mothers stray, but the son who suffers his mother to shame his sire is rare. Matricides, our dearest care, are born in war. Think of this, sister. Put aside your fears. So spoke Alecto. Her snaky tresses hissed in pleasure, roused from their torpor. But Tisiphone replied, Sister, your words are true, but foretell events still too distant. I am envious of your patience, but I doubt I can survive till Eris's plot unfolds. To which Megaira replied, If you are so eager for new work, then don't rely on others to bring it to you. It's in your power to make it come yourself. Indeed, the opportunity is there. A decade past, did not Athene bless, no, require, the sons of the fallen seven to seek their revenge? Children then they were, but adults now. They're blessed with manly vigour, yet idle do they lie, forgetful of Athene's will. Go rouse those men to war. Visit young Thersandros, son of fallen Polyneikes, heir to a stolen throne. Provoke a war, as you have done so many times before. Thus Megaera spoke. Turning her snake-tressed form into a man's, pallid with death, but not corrupted by decay, Tisiphone assumed the guise of Polyneikes, son of Oedipus. Stirring Thersandros within his dreams, thus she spoke. My son, how can you sleep so comfortably in your bed, while I, your father, lie restive in my makeshift tomb? Twice dishonoured am I. Now look upon this suppurating wound, disfiguring my chest, inflicted by my treacherous brother. For 10 years ago he lay, felled by my blade, a witness to my rightful claim to Theban rule. But in defeat he stole a victory, unsanctioned by the laws of war, expending his death throes with a treacherous slaying blow. Thus I fell, and my brother, your uncle, betrayed not only his sibling, but his father and his kin. For with our deaths, who should seize the throne of Cadmus's town? No descendant of Laius, no one born to rule, but Creon, a despot without a claim. And having taken power, he desecrated my corpse and gave it to the beasts and birds to feast upon. And not my corpse alone did he defile, but those of my comrades, fathers of the men you call your friends. This crime, unavenged, burdens you. But what's this? You do not heed the words of he who sired you? Then what about the goddesses? Heed the words of she whose armoured breast the Gorgon adorns. Did she not entreat you and your peers to avenge, when men, the insults to your fathers? Even my sister, Antigone, tried, and for that she was entombed alive in ageless rock. But whereas your aunt, though a girl-child, tried and died, you, a full-grown man, lie idle in the court of another king, a page-boy, a jester, a fool. Begging at the feet of lesser men, you neither claim your rightful throne, nor fulfill the obligations due. So, gather the sons of the fallen seven, declare a second war on Thebes. But first, send envoys to Apollon's priestess, Delphic Pythia. For no campaign, not even one that's sanctioned by the gods, demanded by piety, should be started without Apollon's word. Thus Tisiphone spoke, then shed the guise of Polyneikes, making manifest her true horrific form. Her eyes now glowered with all the heat of Tartarus. Her cerulean tresses squirmed with hissing snakes. Her whip in one hand cracked, the torch in the other blazed with bloody fire. She threw it at Thersandros, set his heart aflame, inciting him to war. Forthwith, Thersandros sent envoys across the lands and summoned all the sons to Aigelus's court at Argos. Diomedes, son of fearsome Tydeus, Euryalus, son of Mecistheus, Polydorus, son of Hippomedon, Promachos, son of Parthenopaeus, Sthenelus, son of Capaneus, and the sons of Amphiaraus the seer, Alkmaion and Amphilokos. To the assembled princes thus he spoke, My brothers, born alike from slaughtered fathers, it has been 10 years since we, false Creon suppliants, were enjoined by Athene to seek revenge. But foolish children then we were, unable to fulfill the goddess's commands. Now we are men, and yet we lie at ease, forgetful of our duties to our fathers and the holy ordinance. So let us now fulfill our obligations and claim our due inheritance. Declare a second war on Thebes. But first, send envoys to Apollon's priestess, Delphic Pythia. For no campaign, not even one that's sanctioned by the gods, demanded by piety, should be started without Apollon's word. The princes murmured in assent, all except Alkmaion, for in his heart he was loath to wage a second war. Thus it was his brother Amphilokos who consulted the priestess of Apollon, his father's god. When rosy-fingered dawn arose a 7th time, Amphilokos returned with the oracular response. The priestess Pythia had uttered it, and Amphilokos held it in his dear heart. And thus the son of Amphiaraus spoke the words of prophecy. If the 7 sons of 7 princes wage war upon the 7-gated town, then it shall never fall. But if the 8 sons of the 7 fight, led by the prophet's eldest son, then it shall fall together with the treacherous, venal wife and mother. Thersandros perceived the god's intent, and, addressing the summoned princes, thus he spoke. My brothers, fellow sons of the fallen 7, We are 7 sons of 7 fathers, and if we wage war alone, then I believe we'll fail to take the 7-gated town. But though we are 7, the sons of the 7 fallen sires are 8. For Amphiaraus had 2 sons, and of the 2, the eldest, Alkmaion, refuses to fight. And I believe that without him as our leader, we shall not prevail, but shall leave our fathers unavenged. So, Amphilokos, beseech your brother to join and lead our ranks. Tell him his service will not be unrewarded. Many are the gifts that I shall give him now, and when, victorious, we take the 7-gated town of Thebes. For 7 bronze tripods, 7 talents of gold, and 7 spiral-horned heifers, and 7 2-year sheep. These gifts shall be his for promising to join and lead our expedition. But if victorious we take the 7-gated town, then I shall redouble the gifts, and of the spoils of Thebes he'll have my share. These shall be the prizes awarded to Alkmaion when, under his command, we take the 7-gated town of Thebes. Godlike Amphilokos obeyed Thersandros. He found his brother, skulking in his lofty ceilinged chamber, and to him he spoke, "Why do you tarry in your chamber and refuse to lead the sons of the fallen 7 against the 7-gated town, condemning us to death? Thersandros urged me to inform you that if you lead us into war, your service will not be unrewarded. Many are the gifts that he shall give you now, and when victorious we take the 7-gated town of Thebes, for 7 bronze tripods, 7 talents of gold, and 7 spiral-horned heifers, and 7 2-year sheep. These gifts shall be yours for promising to join and lead our expedition. But if, victorious, we take the 7-gated town, then he shall redouble the gifts, and of the spoils of Thebes you'll have his share. So, grant us your support and your command." Alkmaion raised his head in abnegation and gave, with winged words, his firm response. "Go follow the son of Polyneikes to war, together with the other sons of the 7 who fell at Thebes, fools that you are. I shall not stop you, though I shall mourn you when you lie before the 7-gated walls. Then I shall curse Thersandros for leading you to your death, as his sire led ours. For our father knew that he would die, but followed Polyneikes, for reasons unknown to any man alive. But he at least did not lie upon the plain before the 7-gated town. His body was not preyed upon by dogs and birds, as yours shall be. For they say that the earth gaped, and swallowed him, his chariot and team, and dragged them down to Hades. Though I shall mourn you, when some herald brings me news of your demise, I shall not be there to cover your corpse with soil, and fund your passage over the Stygian stream. Not even if Thersandros offered 7-fold the gifts that he promises now would I accompany him, leader or not, to war against the 7-gated town. No man shall ever persuade me. Tell that to Thersandros. But as for you, brother, go follow the son of Polyneikes to war, together with the other sons of the 7 who fell at Thebes, fools that you are." So spoke Alkmaion, and Amphilokos delivered his brother's winged words to the son of Polyneikes. Thersandros did not despair. He knew that where the brother failed, the mother would succeed. Down he went to the cedar-scented storeroom, in which were kept the treasures bequeathed to him by his father, garments made by Cadmean women, goods of bronze and iron, ancient heirlooms from which he picked the finest patterned robe, which shone like a star, a dress wrought by foul chthonic art. Its woolen threads were spun by Clotho and her siblings. Its cloth was woven at the loom of Eris and embellished by the sister Furies, their tresses drooling venomous staining dye. This robe was first a gift to Queen Harmonia, the wife of Cadmus, founding father of Thebes. After her, it passed through generations, a lineage cursed like the robe itself. Thersandros took the robe and visited the lofty ceilinged chamber of Eriphyle, and then, addressing her with winged words, "My queen, how gracefully that necklace hangs around your ivory neck. It amplifies your majesty, it magnifies your beauty. Once it belonged to Queen Harmonia, and no worthier of it was she than you. But would that your clothes were as befitting of your majesty. Would that you possessed not only the necklace, but the robe of ancient Queen Harmonia. Then would not people say, 'There goes Eriphyle. Never have we seen a lady as godlike as she.' Now look, she wears not only the necklace, but the robe of ancient Queen Harmonia. Who would doubt her for the queen she is? Who would not follow her every command? What king, a widower, until now pining for a wife whose love cannot be matched, or an aging bachelor who has never found a worthy woman with which to share his throne, would fail to seek her as his consort, valued counsellor, his queen? So they would say, if only they could see you wear that robe. Yet I, descendant of the wife of Cadmus, have inherited the very robe of which I speak. But what use have I of such a dress, childless and unmarried as I am? How it saddens me to know that I possess, but have no use for such a robe. Yet there you are, a worthy queen, already in possession of its counterpart jewel. So spoke the godlike son of Polyneikes, and Eriphyle answered in return, Where is this robe of which you speak? What would I give to see and touch, to don it for a single time? Thus she spoke, and the son of Polyneikes uttered no reply, but unfurled the robe for her to see. Just as when a goat herd, one who watches his flock upon a lonely mountain top, marvels at the sight of lightning hurled upon an ancient tree by Zeus, the gatherer of clouds. Though first he trembles as the tree ignites, his shock soon turns to wonder, so entranced is he by the holy flames that he draws too close, desiring to touch and to be blessed by the god-inspired heat. He thinks nothing of his safety, fears not the scorching flames. Just so Eriphyle marvelled at the robe and approached Thersandros, reaching out to touch. The son of Polyneikes withdrew the robe and spoke to her with winged words. No, it's not within my rights to allow you to touch or possess this robe, for it was bequeathed to me by noble Polyneikes. Epicaste passed it on to him, and she received it from Menoikeus, who inherited the robe from Argos as compensation for her mutilation of his father, her son. And she received it from her mother, Queen Harmonia herself. And thus the robe has remained within my family from the start. So how can I, entrusted with such treasure, give it away? In truth, it is not mine, but my family's, held by me as bare trustee, and never could I part with it, except on the day I grant it to my daughter or daughter-in-law, if ever the gods should grant me one. To act contrariwise would be a betrayal of the kin from which I come. So he spoke, and Eriphyle in return, O son of Polyneikes, never would I wish to undermine such filial piety, yet so great is my desire to touch and own that robe. Would that there were some boon, some recompense that I could grant in return, bestowing greater glory upon your house. Then no man would accuse you of having dissipated your fortune, wasted your inheritance, of having betrayed your kin. So she spoke. Thersandros hid his smile and addressed her with winged words. Alas, I fear that no gift or prize could ever restore my family's glory now. For ever since my sire was murdered by his brother, there's been nothing except destitution, misery, disgrace, no hope remaining for us now. And thus no price could ever compensate my abjuration of this robe, the single heirloom of a fallen house. For though I long to avenge my father's death and seize the throne of seven-gated Thebes, it is a destiny denied. Indeed, Pythia declared that only if your son, Alkmaion, leads our expedition will we take the town, but he refuses to fight. It's thus my fate to fail my father. So you see, I can in no way abjure my sole remaining heirloom. So spoke Thersandros. Eriphyle answered, Fear not, son of Polyneikes, hope for you remains. You shall wage war upon the seven-gated town, and under my son's command you shall prevail. Then no man will say that you have shamed your kin, no matter at what price. For yes, I have a price, Harmonia's robe. So swear upon your kin, declare an oath to Cadmus and Harmonia themselves that you shall give me the robe if I persuade my son to lead the expedition against Thebes. So she spoke, and Thersandros swore upon his kin, declared an oath to Cadmus and Harmonia themselves, then retired to his chamber and waited, while queenly Eriphyle went to find her son. She found him, skulking in his lofty ceilinged chamber, and to him she spoke. My son, now what is this I hear? A rumour, and one that can't be true. For it is said that my eldest son has turned to treachery, refuses to avenge his father, and condemns his brother to death. Surely they lie, as men are wont to do when, desiring to augment their own glory, they besmirch the reputation of their betters. Now it is true, one should refuse to fight if one's not promised compensation, denied due recognition, if one's glory is stolen by a lesser man. But the princes have sworn to appoint you as their leader, to name you as the conquering hero, and Thersandros has promised many gifts. So why do you refuse to fight? From fear? Of what? Fear of death? Fear of war itself? Or fear that you shall be exposed, revealed to lack the manhood you claim to have inherited from your father? He never shrunk from war, even when he knew, prophet as he was, that he was doomed to die. A prophet he was, it's true, but I only pray his sight did not extend to the present day. What shame, what misery would he have felt as the gaping earth devoured him, knowing that he left a eunuch behind as his heir? But what use is it to speak of your father, since it's clear that you despise him so? Rather, if you think so little of him, think at least of me, an aging, wretched woman. Who now will take care of me in my old age, since my only son is destined to die? O Amphilokos, my only son, you are going to war, are doomed. But why? All because this man, nay, this cipher, for he does not deserve the title of man, let alone of son, who stands before me will not fight. With my one son, my pride, my joy, dead, with what shall I be left? Nothing but the shame of having birthed a coward, no son of mine. That shall be my fate, my misery, as I face a wretched dotage, an outcast doomed to live in poverty. So think of me, if not your father or brother. Show yourself deserving of the name of son. That is what I ask of you. No, demand. So spoke Eriphyle, and mighty Alkmaion agreed to go to war. But though he vowed to lead the sons of the seven against Thebes, in his heart he bore a bitter anger, crushed for now.